You wanna see why I see you in the corner. Step out, come here, I just wanna put it on you. This skirt's real hot, this thing got the glisten. Whisper in your ear, right, just so you can listen. Hands on the ground, my eyes on the prize. Want something on the fly, just in case you wanna fly. So enough with the bird, nigga, stay for more. Talk bird to the mom, say
Daddy, it's yours.
Hey, we're back.
Yep, we've got another full tilt edition for you lined up this month.
And what's on the menu?
Yeah, we've got more madness from the States. We also head over to New Zealand to check out the Import All-Stars Challenge.
And we check out the heat treatment GTR, which is now the quickest all-wheel drive on the planet.
And we pay respect to the former king of GTRs, the HKS R33.
It's going to be a huge one.
It's going to be wild. First up, it's JDM all the way, with one of the cleanest S14s you're ever likely to see.
Yep, it's got the style, but most importantly, the substance.
And talking of substance, this mean street Rex has 400 horsepower at the wheels.
Two very tough road cars to get the ball rolling.
What does JDM mean to you? For some people, it simply means a Japanese import, but to those in the know, it's more than that. JDM is about function over form. Modifying your car to this style usually results in a certain look, and James's S14 has it. This 200SX screams JDM.
Hi, my name is James. I'm 26 years old. I'm from Sydney, and this is my S14. I've owned the car for about 5 years. I got an absolute standard, even had cruise control on it.
When it comes to JDM, accept no imitations. This S14 wears a stylish Origin body kit with a genuine East Bear carbon fibre bonnet. The car has been lavished in Daytona blue and custom graphics. For JDM, the rims must be Jap and they must have dish. Raised GTS rims measuring 19 by 9.5 up front and a whopping 19 by 10.5 at the rear max out the factory guards. Nissan were generous in the wheel arch department when building the S14. Inside the massive wheels sit 350Z spec Brembo brakes all round, which not only look hardcore, but help the S14 pull up after the loud pedal has been assaulted.
Before the car got stolen, the engine combo was pretty much standard, and you had 256 pond cams in it, GTRS turbo, and Paris C and injectors. After it got stolen, that's when it took probably, say about 6 a year to rip the whole motor out, went all out and build. So got forged pistons, rods, you name it, everything's done to it. In the beginning, I was probably looking about 250 at the wheels, and that's when I still had the GTRS turbo on it.
To make that sort of power reliably, a full rebuild with forged internals was required. The head was also ported before being fitted with Tomei pond cams, ARP head studs and a Tomei metal head gasket. Many of the water and oil lines are braided, and the sump is now a G-ready item for extra protection. For the balance between power and response, a Garrett GT3082R was chosen. It sits on a hypertune manifold with a tile wastegate and dumps into a Bell Garage dump pipe and custom exhaust into a Blitz newer muffler. A mix of leading Japanese parts were used in the airflow department. There's an Apexi air filter, G-Ready Type R blower valve, and an HKS intercooler into a G-Ready plenum via a larger SR20DE throttle body. The extra air is backed up by extra fuel and spark, with a Walbro fuel pump feeding SARD 850cc injectors, and there's also split fire coil packs. With extra power comes extra heat, so James fitted a Koyo alloy radiator with twin thermos and a custom oil cooler kit. The engine is controlled by an Apexi Power FC, and with 1.5 bar dialed up, it rips out a massive 310 kilowatts at the wheels on pump gas. To help put the power down, James installed an OS Geiken twin plate clutch and a Nismo 2A LSD. With braking and acceleration taken care of, handling was next on the agenda. Teen Flex coilovers, along with Teen strut braces, work with white line sway bars and Kazam caster rods to keep the S14 composed.
I try to keep it low key as much as I can. You obviously get people who are enthusiasts. They know it's more JDM look, it's not the blinger look. I like how it is. I'm more a low key person. Keep it like that.
I'm not trying to fall in love, show you what I do. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm trying to keep my cool. What I really want.
Like the exterior, the interior is purely functional. Bright Ergo 2 seats hold the occupants in place during hard driving, and the set of Defi gauges are pure JDM goodness. A carbon center console and S15 rear seats complete the interior. James drives his car on the street, so cruising tunes are still required. A Pioneer CD-DVD player with fold-out screen keeps James entertained during heavy traffic and supplies the signal to the Rockford Fosgate 4-channel amp. This powers the Rockford Fosgate sub in the boot, along with the Boston acoustic speakers in the rear, NMB quartz splits up front. But James assures us that nothing beats the sound of the angry SR20 on full noise. This S14 is further evidence that you can significantly increase the performance of your car while still making it look tough and stylish. JDM all the way. Australia's best known airbrushing specialist, Advanced Airbrush, are forging new ground in the world of custom finishes. Multi-award-winning airbrush guru Wayne Harrison has expanded his operation to include a new showroom and spray booth facility, so you can now get the full custom pearl, flake and chameleon paint jobs, as well as graphics and murals. Advanced Airbrush has also introduced a series of airbrushing courses in New South Wales, Queensland and Western Australia. Now, along with world-class airbrushing, Advanced Airbrush can also supply you with all the materials you need to perform your own airbrushing works of art, such as Iwata airbrushing products, House of Colour kits, and custom stencils, along with the skills and techniques required to airbrush to a professional standard. For more on Advanced Airbrush, hit the website at airbrush.com.au. Life on the streets is hard. Making a name for yourself ain't easy. The same goes with the car scene. Using your car's looks to talk the talk ain't enough, as when push comes to shove, you have to be able to walk the walk. This Street Fighter WRX has no problem proving that its bite is equal to its bar.
Hi, my name's Matt. I'm from Sydney, and this is my WRX.
Get it out, roll it up, start smoking. Inhale, take a puff till you start choking. Cop a bottle, get your mic, start pouring. Take a couple sips and a hit, get gangsta real. Get it out, roll it up, start smoking. Inhale, take a puff till you start
This one here is the second WRX that I had. The last one was 220 kilowatts. This one came on the market at the right time and it had a lot of mods already done, so I figured it wouldn't take too much to get more power out of it.
Helping the WRX earn its street cred is a Rigoli-built 2.5-litre stroker engine. The name Rigoli is synonymous with the box of 4-cylinder, so you know the engine is built tough. TRP also installed 270-degree billet cams and custom head studs in the quest for big power. The knockout punch comes in the form of a Turbonetics T60-1 turbocharger, which sits on a custom manifold with a TurboSmart external wastegate. The custom intercooler kit and 3-inch exhaust system help it breathe. The juice is supplied by a Bosch 044 fuel pump from a custom surge tank and feeding 4 870cc injectors.
Originally when I got it, it made 296 kilowatts and that was on 26 psi and C16. Now the car makes over 300 kilowatts on 24 psi and pump fuel. The goal is either to go for the 400 kilowatts or to chase Mr. WRX's 10.9 second pass.
The black WRX has managed a quarter-mile time of 10.995 seconds at 127.32 miles per hour.
Sweating. Pressure's on.
A Microtech ECU teams up with the Blitz boost controller to form the brains behind the operation, and TRP have it tuned to make 400 horsepower at all 4 wheels on only 18 psi and pump fuel. That's more than enough muscle for a WRX in a street brawl. An STI 6B teams up with a TRP custom-made clutch to help get the power to the ground. Helping pull the WRX up are DBA 5000 series front rotors and Ferodo pads. The fighting stance is kept in check by adjustable coilovers all round. The mechanical combo works a treat on the street.
Originally when I got it, the goal was chasing Brian's Mr. WRX's 10.9 pass. Now with the 6-speed, it probably makes it a bit more difficult. The car is currently making more power than Brian's made when he made the 10.9, but the 6-speed making all the difference. So it's either change the turbo or put a 5-speed in.
Even when it's not brawling, the WRX looks tough with a jet speed body kit in factory black and Ray's Engineering G-Games 18-inch rims. The little touches finish it off, including carbon M3 style mirrors, carbon bonnet with 03 bonnet scoop and STI headlights. Keeping it clean cut is a shaved rear wing and clear indicators. Making it a bit of a velvet glove iron fist scenario is a full tan leather retrim. Keeping Matt informed is a Microtech handset, while a JVC 7-inch screen keeps him entertained. After extensive workouts in every department, Matt's WRX has the combos to keep onlookers and opposition weak at the knees.
Love your car. Try new Castrol Edge. It's our best oil yet.
The DreamWorks Car Club is making a name for itself in Sydney at the moment.
Yeah, they're pushing it hard in the show scenes, but they're also organising regular cruises. So we've headed out to Homebush to check out their latest gathering.
Then we take a thorough look at one very deadly RX-7 before we reopen the USA files and interview drift and stunt driving champion Reese Millen.
He's a talent behind the car stunts in some of the top Hollywood blockbusters, and he's invited Ignition to come and hang out with him for the day, kicking it OC style.
This month for Hotspots, we're down at Homebush, where the guys from DreamWorks have organised their Back to the City cruise. They're trying to bring back the old days in Sydney of the enormous cruises, and as you can see so far, they're doing a pretty good job. Right, we're here with Aaron, the owner of DreamWorks, who put this cruise together tonight, mate. How's things been with DreamWorks lately?
Mate, coming along good. Last 12 months we had the show. Mate, just want to get a bit of a repertoire of people going up again. The show coming up another couple of months, mate. Want to be bigger and better. Sydney's biggest one-day show and shine.
So with the cruise tonight, I heard it was the Back to the City cruise to try and bring back the old style of Sydney cruising. What inspired you to bring on that idea for tonight?
Mate, when I come into the scene 5-6 years ago, cruising was awesome, mate. You'd come out, you'd see 200-300 cars cruising through George and the Rocks. Basically, mate, lately it's been 20-30 cars on a Friday night. This is how it should be, mate, and DreamWorks is going to turn it around and take us back to the past the way it should be.
What's your name, champ?
Mikey.
What sort of cars do you like?
I like muscle cars, sport cars, and any other car you can think of.
Anything that's fast?
Yeah.
So Dad brought you up well then, didn't he? This is what I love about Sydney. The car scene here is so diverse. Just behind me in one little spot you can see Toyota Supra, S15, RX-8, BMW, WRX, Lancer, RX-7, all in the one place, all different styles. So let's go take a closer look. All right, we're here with Jerry. Mate, Aaron tells us he won DreamWorks Car of the Year for 2006. So obviously your car's got some gear in it, so tell us a little bit about it.
It's alright. It's just got full trim, custom respray, kit, 22s at the back, 20s at the front. I still got more mods to do, but we'll see how it goes in. It's all about money and time.
What's your name?
Fernando.
Fernando. Mate, I'm standing here in this car park and I've seen nothing but Jap cars all night.
Yep.
Everyone knows I'm a Jap fan, but I tell you what, when I see some old school muscle done right, I have to come have a look and I have to come see your GT Coupe and have to say, how come you're down here with all these imports bringing this out?
Good question. Look, I admire all cars, but you're right, I think you've got good taste there. The muscle car is something that it's a revolution, you know what I mean? Like, it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
But I appreciate people that spend a lot of money in their cars and it looks good.
But what sort of reaction do police give you when they see the car?
Surprisingly enough, it's been good. They pull you up and they put on the show and then they say, mate, it's very nice. Have you got your licence? And that's it.
Well, it was a good turnout tonight. Aaron from DreamWorks did really well. There's a few hundred cars here tonight, but obviously a bit of police presence made everyone want to bail a little bit early. But as you can see, some of the hardcore cruisers are still here as we now head off into Bondi to finish off the night.
Introducing motoractive.com.au, Australia's gateway to customising your ride. Providing quality advice from industry professionals makes motoractive.com.au the perfect starting point for beginners and veteran car owners alike. Orchestrate your next project with Motoractive's 5 areas of customisation: bodywork, paintwork, wheels, engine and interior audio vision. So be smart, be Motoractive. www.motoractive.com.au.
Pride, greed, lust, envy, Gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Mark's RX-7 is the epitome of mankind's demise.
My name's Mark, I'm 21 years old, I'm from Liverpool and this is my RX-7. I've always loved the shape of the RX-7, just the way it sits when it sits low. Basically, I built the car from scratch and yeah, just love the shape.
Wrath is the sin, often described as uncontrolled bursts of anger. Mark's RX-7 is way out of control with 280 rear wheel kilowatts at its disposal. The block has been blueprinted and balanced to prepare it for an onslaught of bolt-on brutality. Massport gave the Mildport 13B Turbo 3mm race seals, Garrett's TO4E 72 Turbo and a Turbo Smart Type 2 blow-off valve on a custom manifold. The intercooler is also a custom piece by Mood Motorsports, the radiator from PWR. Gluttony is consuming more than one needs. Mark's example, 4 1000cc injectors fed by 2 500 horsepower Bosch in-tank fuel pumps and a side regulator.
I wouldn't mind changing the turbo in the future just to get a bit more power out of it, but for now it's a nice street car, it drives nice and does everything it wants to do.
The wrath is expressed by a 3-inch mandrel bent and turbo back exhaust, but at the end of the day, it's the Microtech LT10S that's responsible for the RX-7's fury. Thanks to a Series 5 box, LSD, Coney shocks, K-Max springs and an XCD heavy-duty clutch, Mark's rage stays on the road. Pride is considered the most serious sin of the 7 and is said to be the source from whence the others were born. It's the mission to be more attractive than others. With a full respray of House of Colour Passion Purple, Mark's headed for the crown. The Series 4's exterior is preferably served as minimal as possible, so Mark only added Series 5 taillights and the Jap spec lightweight bonnet to keep its original contours. Greed, the excessive acquisition of wealth. In this case, a set of 20-inch Cruise K28s all round is more than enough for any man.
The same day I came into Aussie Tyres was the first day the rims came out, so I was the first one in Australia to get them.
The definition of sloth has changed over centuries, but with Mark's interior as cozy as this, it would have to be the act of laziness. Sparkos retrimmed in coral sand leather match the rest of the interior accents, also trimmed in coral-inspired leather. Further relaxing Mark is a Kenwood 7-inch touchscreen, amps, 10-inch sub, and 6-inch splits. The result of such a manifestation provokes envy and lust. Envy from other motorists, and the allure of deep sexual desires.
Exquisite Customs. From custom body modifications, airbrushing, paint and panel, to full custom interiors and complete audio installs, to suspension, wheels and tyres. Australia's first and only one-stop shop for all your customisation needs. www.xcustoms.com.au.
Hi, I'm Reece Millen. I'm going to take you on a tour of Reece Millen Racing.
While on our recent US road trip, we caught up with Reece Millen, one of the world's best known drifters and stunt drivers.
Starting with a car most of you are familiar with. This is the car that we won the championship in 2005, the Pontiac GTO, or more familiar, the Holden Monaro. The car is based on a rear-wheel drive platform that is factory. We run the factory internals of the motor, although we actually have changed the crank and taken the stock 350 engine, bored it out or stroked it out to a 383. The transmission is the stock T56. The rear end is the same, although we do have 3 different gear ratios that will run. It's a great car, but there's always room for improvement. And that's the car off to my right, the Solstice GXP. Let's go check that out. What can I say about the Solstice GXP but lighter, stronger, faster. You know, the platform is 2,200 pounds. The wheelbase is 1.5 feet shorter. The power is actually more power and more torque than we made out of the engine program that we run for the GTO. Tipping the scales at 520 foot-pounds of torque and 540 horsepower out of the 2-litre blow-in motor. We run a special gas, it's called ethanol. It's E85 corn-based oil, very cool burning oil with a 14:1 to 1 compression ratio, 22 pounds of boost, and blow-in 2-litre motor. That's how we're able to get those numbers. We put a lot of emphasis on steering angle. We achieve those by changing our upright angles here, by changing our steering arms or our tie rods and curving them so the tyre can actually pull inside the tie rod and not bind up. By making tubular boxed arms on the lower and tubular on the front, we have different sway bar settings, 4-way adjustable high-speed, low-speed shocks. You can tune anything you want into this car, which is hopefully going to make my job easier. I'm excited to get this thing into competition for 2007. It's exciting to drive, and every time I hop in it, it puts a big smile on my face. I'm smiling now just thinking about hopping in it tomorrow. My history in New Zealand is pretty brief. Obviously, I was going to school. I moved to the US when I was 17. My father was influential in my motorsport career as being a name and an icon and kind of helping open doors for me to get established, to get situated. Those opportunities were there, but I worked very, very hard from a young age to establish this company, start this company when I was 21 and kind of turned it into what it is now. Reese Millen Racing was established on building performance parts for street customers. Transition of drifting came 2003. You know, we'd been rallying with Mitsubishi for 2 years here in the US. It successfully won the championship in 2001. I still had the old rally cars. We took the 4-wheel drive Evo out there, still covered in dust from an event, with gravel tyres on it, and kind of whipped on everyone, mostly because of the dynamics difference of a 4-wheel drive car. So I flew to Detroit. I pitched GM on getting involved. They didn't know what the sport was about. So they said, but we don't have any rear-wheel drive product. I said, you don't now, but in 6 months you have the GTO coming. Now on the GM side of things for the last 3 years, we offer parts for the GTO. And now we're starting to do parts for the Solstice. Having the opportunity to drive for Dukes of Hazzard was a great opportunity, you know, a big breakthrough. Dukes of Hazzard was obviously very personal to me. Friday night, 6 o'clock, as a small boy growing up in New Zealand, I'd be sprawled out, elbows on the carpet, watching the General Lee sliding around. To me, it was all about driving the General Lee. I really didn't care about anything else that was going on. A year later, I get the call, we're filming Fast and the Furious 3. We want you to be a part of it. I go in and meet the second unit director.
Ready. Set up.
Go!
And he goes, I heard you were my man. What can you do for me?
Tires are slick. When you drift, if you ain't out of control, you ain't in control.
For the movie, you know, I had tons of cars to kind of choose from. Being the double for the lead actor Sean, you know, he progressed from driving the S14 or the S15. Then he went into the Evo. And probably shouldn't say this because I'm a GM Works driver, but the best car on the set, and what I think is a very well-balanced car, is the Evo. It worked really, really good. It's nothing like my competition GTO, but in a production-based format, the steering's good, the power delivery, the torque, the response from the turbo, it's very, very good. The Mustang, I hated that thing, but they wanted the best, smoothest driving out of the Mustang to outdrive the Z. So Tanner's just sitting there kind of sipping on his Earl Grey. I'm just muscling this no power steering Mustang around, and then they get me in an Evo, the car that I love, and they're like, oh well, this is the car that Sean is learning to drift in, so we want you to kind of smash into things and act a little radical in it. So anyway, I got to drive all the cars. It was a blast, and I look forward to doing more in the future. The exciting thing for me for both features, for Dukes of Hazzard, which was 100% real driving, Fast and the Furious, there was some CGI in there, but you can tell what CGI. The ramp, the spiral ramp in the car park structure, that was actually supposed to be a tow rig. They used it as a tow rig for the actor's internal shot, and I told him, I can slide up that. And we actually redid it. At the end, we did a reshoot 3 weeks after we had finished filming, came back especially that night, and he says, I've got a special gift for you. And I said, what's that? He says, you get to show me if you can do this. They set up one whole night for that. I won $100 that night because I did it 3 times and didn't scratch the wall.
That spiral last part in the 350Z was totally real.
The spiral in the 350Z was 100% real.
Looking for a killer set of rims for your ride? All these ignition feature car owners can't be wrong. Aussie Tyres, the latest and greatest selection of street race and bling wheels.
We all know the wheels make the car. This is why they are first on the modifying list. But what about modifying your wheels? Or even better, what about modifying them whenever you like, in as little as 10 minutes? Well, Aussie Tyres has the answer with the new Koenig Hot Swap rim, which allows you to change the spoke sensors from carbon to black, to red, to chrome, or whatever color you desire. Continuing on with the Koenig tradition of clean lines, good looks, quality construction and lightweight, the Koenig Hot Swap is already a big hit with the US tuning market and is now on sale here in Australia through exclusive Koenig distributors, Aussie Tyres. For more information, head to Ignition X and click on Aussie Tyres in the product review section. With Koenig and Aussie Tyres, the possibilities are endless.
Drift Australia is back with another national series and some fresh new faces.
We head over to Perth for the opening round where there were some surprising results.
Then we go for a fang in something pretty unique. It's a convertible S15 with a folding hardtop.
It's called a Verietta, and they don't come any rarer.
Barbagallo Raceway was the venue for the opening round of the 2007 Toyo Drift Australia Championship. It was the first time a national drift event had visited Perth, and big crowds turned out to see the best Australian drifting had to offer. A lot of familiar faces were back, but many wielding new or overhauled cars.
I'm just amazed at the quality of the presentation of the cars, the number of multi-car teams. Impossible to pick a winner this year. I mean, you look at the depth of this field now, and there's no way I'd be betting on the outcome here today.
There are also some new faces, and some drivers stepped up from the Super Drift category, including the series winner, Lyndon Reynolds.
All right, we're here with Lyndon Reynolds, mate. Stepped up after the win in Super Drift last year into DA. How does it feel?
It's good. I'm
the
really
standard
excited.
of machinery this year has stepped up once again, with cars starting to rival what we've seen in Japan. GT Autosound debuted their radical wide-body R34 Skyline, powered by a twin-turbo LS1 V8. Toyo have jumped on board with the GT Autosound crew for 2007. Look for a full feature in Ignition soon. Toyo continue to sponsor DriftCat, and her 1VA is now powered by an RB26.
I haven't drifted the car as it is. It's got an RB26 in it. I took it out on a little skid pan, first and second gear. It was a small car park, and looking forward to drift third and fourth gear on today.
I'm a big fan. Thanks, DriftCat.
Thanks.
Toyo are also behind the Corporal Christian Pickering, who was this year driving the CTS 180SX.
What does it feel to be behind the wheel of one of the most developed cars in the country?
Oh, it's awesome. Compared to the old car, it's a lot faster. Just everything's new on it, so it handles really well. And yeah, it's 100 times better than the S15.
Adam Borneo Truella is also backed by Toyo for 2007. More drift teams are forming, with Eugene Aronson and Josh Young getting together, and Wheelworks having a strong presence with 3 cars driven by Lyndon Reynolds, Adam May and Tom Monkhouse. Team Pier have also expanded, with Leighton Fine joining Darren Appleton and Bo Yates. Team Pier show they are a force to be reckoned with, winning the Team Drift event. Super Drift was back as well, but was mostly fielded by WA drivers. Rob Arbolino in the Gators 180SX made the trip over, and it paid off for him as he battled his way through to the finals with a broken left rear hub. The West Australians battled hard, but on Sunday morning, Rod took his first win in Super Drift and set himself up for the rest of the season. Saturday was practice for the Drift Australia drivers as they got used to the fast West Australian track. Luke Fink was pulling off massive entries, and the Corporal was on a mission driving with incredible speed. Hometown favourite Adam Truella had bad luck with 2 cars suffering mechanical failures, but on Sunday, one of his close friends, Clint, came to the rescue, lending him his animal, Black R32 Skyline. Top 16 is where things started to heat up, and it was beginning to become obvious just how good the talent is in Drift Australia this year. Darren Appleton showed he is still one of the best, pulling off the biggest move of the weekend, overtaking Lyndon Reynolds. Even the judges said it was the best overtake they've ever seen. All three Team Pierre cars made it through to the top 8, earning good points for the team, but Darren and Bo had to go head-to-head to make the top 4. Christian Pickering was on fire and made it through to the finals against Adam Truella, who stole the show driving the borrowed street registered Skyline like a man possessed. The wild man, Chris Easton in the R31, fought many epic battles before taking on Darren Appleton in the battle for 3rd place. The finals were an absolute nail-biter. Both drivers were pumped for the win, and even after the Corporal went wide on turn 1 and Borneo followed him through the dust storm, both drivers kept the boot in and finished off in style. The Corporal and Borneo both fought harder than anyone thought possible. In the end, it was a fairy tale finish for Adam Truella, with Christian Pickering in 2nd making it 1-2 for Toyo. Chris Easton finished up in 3rd place, and the rest of the leaderboard was as follows. After Perth, the 2007 season is set to be bigger and better than ever. For more information on event dates and details, check out driftaustralia.com.au. To see more drift action from round 1 in Western Australia, including interviews with the top drivers and a closer look at the leading cars, check out the event section in Ignition X.
You can now get the first 6 editions of Ignition DVD in this special collector's edition box set for just $49.95. To purchase the box set, contact Ignition on 02 9633 3435. Hit the website at ignitiondvd.com or email us at info@ignitiondvd.com.
Building an S15 that stands out is getting harder by the day, with so many Primo Show examples and plenty of hardcore performance versions around. But what if your S15 was different and super rare from factory? Got you guessing yet? What you're looking at here is a genuine Autech S15 Variator.
Perth, and this is my Verietta. Leading up to this, started out getting into imports and picked up, when they first came out, one of the 97 Hypergear R's, just as I was getting it, planning to mod it. Heaps of others came out, they started hitting the magazine covers, so I was looking for something different.
Autech is a tuning arm for Nissan that builds special edition models. The Verietta is a convertible S15 with a full folding hardtop roof. Only 1,500 Veriettas were made, of which only 500 were manual and 200 had heated electric seats, making Adam's S15 even rarer.
No one sees them, there's like 3 in WA and about 10 in Australia. I enjoy that sort of part of the car scene, you know, people wondering what your car is, so always looking for something unique.
Complementing the Verietta's lines is a Y Sports front bar, M Sports rear bar and Origin side skirts. The rims are both tough and stylish 19-inch raised Sebrings, measuring 8.5 inches wide up front and 10 inches at the rear. Custom blacked out taillights and clear indicators add the signature style. The interior is all class from factory as it's coated in black leather, but Adam added Hippo Sleek carbon trim pieces and a Momo gear knob. A Clarion in-dash DVD CD player with a fold-out screen and a G-Ready EO1 boost controller give Adam something to look at when cruising the streets of Perth.
People's reactions are pretty cool, obviously. Turns heads for the right reasons, both looks nice and sleek rather than way out, but they also keep looking to go, you know, what the hell is that?
Veriettas were all non-turbo straight from factory, so dropping in an SR20 DET provided an easy power upgrade. For extra poke, Adam added a Garrett GT28 RS turbocharger on an X-Force stainless manifold, a full X-Force exhaust system, a hybrid intercooler kit, and a G-Ready plenum bump power up to an easy 270 rear wheel horsepower. The engine bay is further tidied up with a Tomei cold pack cover, top stage carbon fibre heat shield, G-Ready radiator shroud, and plenty of bits have been chromed or painted. With a turbo engine now in place, the rest of the mechanicals had to be upgraded to match. An RG Racing clutch was installed along with a viscous LSD. R33 Skyline brakes were installed all round with DVA slotted rotors.
That's pretty much a cruiser daily driver. Obviously without a roof there's also a bit of chassis rigidity issues, so really looking for a nice cruiser, getting the power to the ground quickly, and that's about it.
Due to the chop top, the Verietta's chassis isn't quite as tight as a normal S15. Adam addressed this problem by installing a Nismo power brace, Duluck pillar brace, and a D-Max carbon strut brace. Handling and poise have also been improved with the fitment of D2 adjustable coilovers.
A lot of people laugh, it's an interesting choice for a family car. The kids love it, they always after going for cruises and want the roof off. It's roof off, Dad. So yeah, it's cool, it works.
So with performance, braking and handling to match its killer looks, Adam now has one of the most unique and enjoyable cruisers around. This month, we delve into the world of boost with GCG turbos. Head to Tech Talk in Ignition X.
Old school's still way cool, and this Dado 1600 coming up next finds a sweet balance between old world charm and the technology of today.
It's got the SR20 DET pack and big power, and the owner did most of the work himself.
Then we take a trip across the Tasman to check out the New Zealand Import All-Star Challenge.
It's a grudge match fest, and New Zealand's quickest showed up in the droves.
Don't ever get it twisted. Old and new school have collaborated for years. Sometimes all we need is a perfect specimen to remind us of how automotive generations are able to unite for a mutual cause. Mark is no stranger to hard physical work. He grew up on an acreage and always had his hands on some kind of machinery.
Well, I'm a qualified fitter machinist. Basically, it helped me do everything on the car. I've built basically most of what you see, all but paint, trim and electrical. So yeah, my job helps a lot.
He's no stranger to the 1600 either. A fond history of bush bashing since he was 10 years of age strengthened the bond between Mark and Datsun's flagship.
Dad brought us one I was about 10 years old as a paddock basher. Probably had at least a dozen cents and yeah, just love the look of them. Love the way it used to handle in the bush. Thought I'd do one up.
When it came to finding a new school power plant for the old school player, Mark knew it had to remain a 4-cylinder. He needed a 4-banger that's proven its strength and has the potential to generate intimidating numbers.
I chose SR20 probably about 5 years ago because it was the latest and greatest thing back then. Everyone was just starting to venture into them, wanted to be one of the few that got into them straight away. It's only been going on for about 2.5 years of use. The rest of it was just mounting everything up to it, doing all the modifications to it.
Mark pretty much did most of the work on the SR20, aided by the tuning smarts of Daryl and Troy at Screaming Performance. The bottom end is standard for the meantime, but the head contains Stage 2 Crowell camshafts, Rollmaster adjustable cam gears, ARP head studs, and a Cometic metal head gasket.
It's got a GT 3540 on it. I've just put that on. It's only been on there a couple of 100 Ks. I had a TO4E on it before that. I just stuff around with cars a lot, so I'd always look for something to change, and yeah, I was changing exhaust housings, just mucking around, getting them retuned and seeing what was coming on boost better and producing more power.
Altogether, the setup is managed by Motec's M48, helping the Datsun churn out 310 horsepower in 13.1 seconds down the quarter mile. It doesn't stop there. Mark's R200 long-nose diff was locked and modified to a 28 spline to hold the custom drive shafts. Mark also made up custom brackets to fit the 330mm Brembo rotors, equipped with 200SX 4-piston calipers up front and R31 rotors and calipers at the rear. Yep, Mark's a DIY kind of guy. The suspension setup is just as elaborate as the rest of the car. Kearney adjustables with custom springs keep the front down, while KYB gas shocks with heavy-duty springs keep the rear end behaving. It all rolls in 17-inch BSA chromies. When you modify any pre-1985 vehicle, it's actually more like an advanced restoration project. All bumpers, door handles, tail and headlight surrounds have been re-chromed, while the body was given the gold pearl treatment with ghost flames. Mark 1600 was actually one of the first cars to be sprayed by Exquisite Customs, right before he had the cartoon dragon mural applied to the bonnet. Inside is another story, but just as interesting. The front seats are from a VK Commodore and have been retrimmed in cream leather. Mark's 6-point welding cage is cams and Andrew approved, and also copped the vinyl retrim. Finishing touches include the Momo steering wheel, billet handles, and custom embroidery in the doors. Entertainment begins with a 7-inch Kenwood foldaway touchscreen, which services 2 JVC amps, a 15-inch Vibe Black Air sub, and Boston Acoustic 6-inch splits. And yes, again, Mark did the installation himself. There's basically nothing that Mark can't do, which earns him the right to be branded a true modifier. Built, not bought.
Get your monthly copy of Ignition DVD from newsagents, Autobarns, JB Hi-Fi and Easy DVD.
With trips to Japan and the US under our belt, we thought it was time to head across the Tasman to visit our close neighbours, New Zealand. New Zealand is a land of natural beauty, but amongst the green countryside lies a flourishing import car scene. We teamed up with New Zealand Performance Car Magazine and Redline Performance to check out some of the best drift and drag racing action New Zealand has to offer. For all the juice on EMS ECUs, head to the product review section in Ignition X.
We're here at Lakeside International Raceway in Taupo, New Zealand for the New Zealand Performance Car Import All-Stars Drag Challenge. The event's sponsored by HKS and the big headline act is Reece McGregor in the Heat Treatment's R32 GTR that is now the world's fastest all-wheel drive.
New Zealand Performance Car Magazine is the big name in the New Zealand car scene, with the country's highest selling performance car mag and their own TV show. Running events was a natural progression. The Import All-Stars Drag Challenge was started up so that the top pro cars in New Zealand could race head-to-head in pre-organised grudge match races.
Well, this is it, the legendary HKS R33 GTR drag car that was until recently the world's fastest GTR and all-wheel drive, but as we know, Reece McGregor just knocked it off. Now, this car was scheduled to race heads up against Reece McGregor this weekend, but after its racing in Thailand, the HKS engineers declared the car was actually structurally unsound after years of racing. This is the last time we will ever see the car in public. We're here with a man that needs no introduction this weekend, Reece McGregor, the driver of the Heat Treatment's R32 GTR, mate. How does it feel to be the headline act this weekend?
The event's really good. The organisation is, really well put together. I think the track in another 6 months to a year or so will be looking pretty good to do some good times on. We tried with what we could out there, but sometimes it's hard to get it all together.
Obviously 7:57, the world record that you took over in when you were in Queensland. The time that you ran today, 7:77 the best, and is that your fastest on New Zealand soil?
That's the fastest we've run over here, yeah.
And is there much difference in the setup you've got now from when you were in Australia at all? Or?
We're always changing things. The setup is a bit different.
Now from here, with the record under your belt, is it time to go faster? Are you going to change the setup? Is it going to stay full chassis? What are your plans and directions, do you think, for the car?
Everyone's just going to have to wait and see what we come up with.
I know you're pretty quietly spoken, and you never cease to amaze us when you bring something out new. So
we're definitely not planning to give up, put it that way.
There was still a heap of action in the All-Stars class and plenty of quick times. Robert Tynan in the Wholesale Cars Direct WRX had a wild ride on the new track surface, but still ran in the low 8-second bracket. The Kiwi RE RX7 set a new personal best with an 8.41 second run. There were plenty of breakages, with the TG Sylvia busting a gearbox and the Snap-on Racing V8 powered Supra popping a diff on its first pass. The CBR 323 was awesome to watch as it struggled to put its power down on the way to low 9-second passes. Zoheb Razag also debuted the new look for his Rip You Up Lancer. Sporting a new wide-body 2-door lightweight carbon shell, it's set to go quick. World record quick. The fully built dry-sumped engine is heading over the 1000 horsepower mark with the still 2-litre 4G63 now on the methanol. The T51R turbo remains, but there is now no need for an intercooler. The car is a masterpiece of engineering and it's totally immaculate in its construction and presentation. The roll cage is comprehensive to say the least, and the aerodynamics of the car are world class. The car now supports a custom built slider clutch and sequential gearbox combo, which needs some testing to fine-tune it before the power gets turned up and some records fall. On the day, the car simply performed some shakedown runs as Zoheb didn't want to disappoint the crowd. The event also had a heap of quick street cars. The biggest difference at this event is that the cars run heads up in 1-second brackets instead of the usual dial your own. This makes for close racing and better entertainment for the spectators. Joe Kyle's R32 GTR is the fastest street GTR in New Zealand and ran in the 10s all day. There were a heap of tough Evo Lancers at the event, with quite a few running in the 10s on radial tyres. The stage saw plenty of action, with 2 rounds of the Miss All-Star Challenge comp. We gave some ignition DVDs away and the crowd went crazy for them. The girls strutted their stuff in the 2 lead-up heats before the finals, which was held at the after party. The day was wrapped up with the Redline Performance-sponsored drift cars putting on an intense show, with Mad Mike in the RX-7 and 2005 D1NZ champion Adam Richards in the HKS NZ S15. The event was a huge success with big crowds and good racing. The NZ import drag scene is huge for a country with such a small population. For more information on New Zealand Performance Car Magazine, TV and their events, check out performancecar.co.nz.
Got a hot modified car you think's worthy of a feature in Ignition DVD? Know of a cranking car club or upcoming cruise? What about a hotspot? Hit the website at ignitiondvd.com and let us know.
It's not like us to feature scantily clad women for no reason, but the All-Stars Model Comp is a very important part of this event.
And one of the most popular, as it turns out.
Can't explain that, but the tribe has spoken. Now what they are really here for is the planned showdown between HKS and heat treatment GTRs.
In the end, the HKS car didn't run, but we still went over both with a fine-tooth comb to bring you the lowdown on the hottest and quickest GTRs ever to see a staging grid.
With only 5 days in New Zealand, we thought we'd get our priorities straight and check out the NZPC All-Stars Challenge model search for a close look at some New Zealand talent. were 2 heats during the day and the crowd went absolutely nuts. It was then off to the shed for the NZPC after party and the finals of the model comp with everyone's favourite part, swimwear.
To win?
Feels good. I haven't won anything for a while, so it's nice, yeah.
So did you do the caravan stuff because you like cars, or is it more of a just promo work thing, or a bit of both?
I do like the cars. I love drifting, but...
Oh, do you hear that? We might have to talk to this one later. Let's go.
Freestyle magazine, motoring, fashion, music. The complete mix of motoring, fashion, and music, making Freestyle the #1 automotive lifestyle magazine, and it's free. Freestyle magazine, Australia's premier free automotive lifestyle magazine, available from all leading clothing, music, and automotive outlets.
In the world of drag racing, being the quickest is all that matters. Records usually fall on a regular basis, but this particular car has defied history, holding the title of the world's fastest four-wheel drive in GTR for 5 years. Its record of 7.67 seconds was set in October 2001 and was only broken at the 2006 Jamboree when Reese McGregor set a time of 7.57 at 190 miles per hour. The New Zealand HKS agent, Redline Performance, organised for the legendary HKS GTR to be brought to New Zealand to challenge Reese head-to-head, but it was not meant to be.
We approached HKS Japan to see if we were able to bring the car out and race it in New Zealand to obviously try and get the record back.
Redline Performance in Auckland allowed us to take a closer look at the car and examine a part of motoring history. Looking over the GTR, it's amazing how advanced it was for its time, but also how purposeful and simple the car really is in its design. The HKS car was also used to develop a lot of HKS parts, so many of them are prototype or custom items.
Unfortunately, the chassis was structurally unsafe and the engine actually needed a full rebuild.
The factory guards and roof remain, but the bonnet, boot, front bar and doors are full lightweight carbon items. Lexan windows all round help reduce weight even further. The 15 by 8-inch monocoque drag rims are purely functional and house Willwood brakes. Aerodynamics are taken care of with a custom carbon fibre wing and diffuser. There's also a parachute up back. Inside, there's no place for creature comforts. Everything is stripped and there's a basic roll cage. The single bucket seat still has the famous Hello Kitty seat pad. All of the custom brackets and parts are made from carbon fibre, and only the bare essentials have been reinstalled. Looking at the electronics, you can see that many of the components have been upgraded over time, but some of the older equipment remains. Also noticeable is the Atessa four-wheel drive system that has been relocated to the passenger floor. The exposed lines are for the HKS air-shifted sequential gearbox, which houses a HKS quad-plate clutch. There's also a torque split controller and line lock system for burnouts. Looking under the car, you can see that the factory chassis and floor pan remains. The suspension is quite simple with its HKS drag coilovers and some custom-made adjustable suspension arms. The rear diff is standard but houses a custom center and modified drive shafts. The boot has been stripped and now houses the Mega Fuel system. A fuel cell feeds 3 filters and 3 Bosch 044 fuel pumps.
Once you actually get inside and have a look at the car, the technology for when it was built was unbelievable.
Looking under the hood shows how simple but effective the engine combo is. The motor is filled to the brim with the HKS catalogue. Every factory part has been replaced with strengthened and upgraded items. Compression ratio is bumped up slightly to 9.8 to 1, and capacity is just under 2.8 litres. The RB26 has also been dry sumped for extra reliability. The turbos are prototype GT3540 items on custom manifolds with twin external wastegates. They dump into custom-made dump pipes which then vent out from under the car. The plenum is a custom item and has 2 HKS fuel rails and fuel regs attached to it, meaning there's 12 HKS 560cc injectors.
The car has really worked for us bringing it here, despite the fact that it's not going to run. And HKS have actually already told us that as long as this publicity works well, they're looking at sending us the Evo 9 Superlap car, the all-carbon fibre body vehicle.
Cooling and aerodynamics are both aided by a split intercooler and radiator setup. The main opening in the front bar feeds the HKS intercooler with heated air expelled through the ducted bonnet vent, while the small opening in the bar feeds the small radiator underneath. Management is handled by an FCON Pro V, and boost by an HKS EVC. With over 2 bar of boost, the engine is set to make up to 1300 horsepower. It's amazing that a car built in the late 1990s remained the fastest for so long, and would still be competitive today if brought back into action. Now it's time to take a look at the new king of GTRs. While we were in NZ, Reese opened the doors of the Heat Treatments workshop to allow us a closer look at the new record-holding R32 GTR.
Originally I started running a couple of RX-7s that I had, and I went through a period where I had a lot of breakages and things like that. Some of my friends had GTRs and they seemed like a pretty strong car, so that was what I thought I'd try next.
Like the HKS GTR, the Heat Treatments GTR is quite simple in its design and is filled with high-end and developed parts. It is also a full-bodied car. It was built from the ground up with ease of maintenance and reliability in mind. A custom carbon fibre bar and bonnet was made up, which was airbrushed to look like a normal GTR front end. It is totally sealed up except for the turbo intake to help with aerodynamics. The doors and boot lid are also carbon, and along with the Lexan windows help shave more weight.
It started off as just a sort of street car around the 550 horsepower mark, and then as things went along we increased the horsepower, and then we got that one up to about 850 odd horsepower. The car was making reasonable power, but the chassis weighed a lot, and we didn't really want to go cutting up an R33 because they were quite a new car at that stage. We found another chassis, which was this particular car here, stripped all the rest of the interior and other components that we didn't need out of it. And then as things happened, things started snowballing, and we put a better gearbox, went to a Hollinger sequential gearbox, and that dropped a lot of time off the car from the original H pattern box we had. Got down to like a 9.4 with still no extra power.
15 by 8 inch Bugatti drag rims house real wood brakes and a rack from 28 by 10 by 15 inch drag slicks. A custom drag wing and parachute up the back help keep the car safe at over 300 kilometers an hour. The interior is purely functional. The firewall and floor were remade to allow fitment and ease of maintenance for the Liberty 5-speed air-shifted transmission. The gearbox uses a twin-plate slider clutch, which is adjusted to suit different track surfaces. There's also a custom dash and roll cage, and the Motec digital dash and shift light display everything Reese needs.
We thought, right, it's probably some time, time that we put some slicks on the car and things like that. And we also increased the power a little bit at that stage. And the car dropped down to an 8.7. We put a Liberty 5-speed air-shifted box in the car, along with a Pro Stock style slider clutch. That made a lot of difference to the car. It meant that we had adjustability on setting the car up. You know, if you went to a slippery track, obviously you put a bit more slip in the clutch, help the car get down the track.
Underneath the car, there's custom Coney shocks and springs all around. The diffs are factory locked items, and the drive shafts are custom made in-house in the heat treatments machine shop.
We were pretty confident that we had the chassis side of things sorted out and the drive line, and we were limiting our breakages in that respect. We started putting more power in, and we got to a certain level, and then we swapped our engine setup over to methanol.
As you can see, the engine bay is a work of art. Heat Treatments did all of their own development and testing to come up with the ultimate package. The RB26 now has a displacement of 2.8 litres and pumps out upwards of 1400 horsepower. When you compare the car's weight and 190 mile per hour trap speeds, you can see that power claim is more likely to be an understatement.
Probably when we ran our first 7-second pass, and the gearbox didn't actually change into 5th gear, and we ran a 792, and then at that stage I started to think that the HKS record was achievable. All we basically did was just keep adding power until we got there.
A lot of the block and bottom end preparations is a heat treatment secret, but the crank, bearings, rods and pistons are HKS items. The highly modified head is filled with HKS valve gear. The RB26 has also been dry sumped for extra protection. A custom Garrett turbo sitting on a custom manifold controlled by a HKS 60mm external wastegate blows 35 pounds of boost through a Spareco water-to-air intercooler into a Jun plenum via the Jun 80mm throttle body. The 4-inch exhaust is nice and simple. The GTR runs on methanol, so there's a whopping 12 1500cc injectors in total. A mechanical fuel pump was custom fitted up to supply the juice, and an aeromotive fuel reg controls the pressure.
All the work that we do on the car is all done in-house. Andre from SpeedTech, he does the tuning, but apart from that, everything else gets developed, and we make all our own components here, like example, axles and drive shafts and all your different diff components and things, which is it helps us out a lot, being able to continually develop the parts to make them strong enough where they shouldn't break.
Even with methanol, the GTR still runs a PWR radiator to keep temperatures in the head consistent. A Motec CDI provides the spark, and the M800 controls the show. As you can see, braided lines and speed flow fittings are used everywhere for ease of maintenance and reliability. Even with 1400 horsepower and the world record under its belt, Reese is confident there's still more to come from the GTR, even without nitrous. The Heat Treatments crew will continue to push the GTR, but a pro rear-wheel drive style car may also be in the wings to see just how fast an RB26 powered car can really go. Whatever happens, ignition will be there. For more drag action from the Rock and All Stars event in Taupo, New Zealand, head to the event section in Ignition X.
Now that's it for the main movie, but hang out for Ignition X. We've got some really cool stuff this month.
Yep, we've got the Koenig hot swap wheel from Aussie Tyres, and we've also got a full rundown on EMS ECUs.
We also delve into the world of boost with GCG turbos, and of course there's more in our Project 200.
See you next edition.
Adios.
See you looking at me, trying to check out the scene. Exotic ecstasy, I'm wanting you next to me. My heart it starts pumping, it makes it hard to breathe. I don't want you to leave, let me be your destiny.
You're fresh on the scene while I see you in the corner. Step out, come here, I just wanna put it on you. Your skirt's real high, your skin got the glisten. Whisper in your ear, my just you can listen. Hands on the thigh, my eyes on the prize, but it's just the best for the flies.
How you do that? Yeah, you got a man, but will you do that? I don't see him anywhere around, so how about we kick it for a while? Hips don't lie, so I think you in denial. I don't need Mrs. Right, I need Mrs. Right now. Baby, if you with her, we can slide on out. Turn your phone off, I'ma turn the lights out. Blow your back out, don't test my G. If your heart was his home, now we refugee. Yo, man can't come next to me, so I deny yourself a night of ecstasy.
I see you looking at me, trying to check out the scene. Exotic ecstasy, I'm wanting you next to me. My heart it starts to beat, it makes it hard to breathe. I don't want you to leave, let me be your destiny. I'm not trying to fall in love, let me show you what I do.